Hey everyone, Duke Nukem 3D here with another gas mask for you guys. And today I have my RSH-4 Chapter, or Expanded Cartridge 4, or RSH-4 gas mask kit, utilizing the ShMS Specjalny, or Helmet Mask Special, or ShMS gas mask. Another fucking mouthful with these Russian masks, I tell ya. So, anyways, the RSH-4 gas mask kit was pretty much the standard workhorse of the Soviet NBC protective mask ensemble from the 1950s up until probably the 80s or so, and maybe even a little past then into today for training purposes. The RSH-4 was classified with three different face pieces: the SHM41M, the MM1, and in this case, the SHMS. This pretty much, as I mentioned before, conserved the bulk of what was Russia's most issued masks for the time period during the Cold War. And really there isn't too much to say about them without getting into the individual pieces of the kit, which I will do here in a sec. The SHMS facepiece was designed, I believe it was designed, or has been in development since the late 1950s or so, but may or may not have been adopted until the 1960s or even potentially the 70s. I'm not entirely sure on that. It was more or less probably adopted sometime in the 1960s, and as far as I know is still somewhat in use for training. However, was mostly phased out sometime in the 1980s or so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but anyways, the SHMS was designed to fulfill the need for an optical mask for use by tank crews, artillerymen, I guess snipers, I guess you could say. I'm not entirely sure on that, but just anyone who needed a optical mask for use with gun sights and scopes and things of that nature. Getting into the actual kit of the mask before I ramble on about history I really don't know much of, the RSH-4, one of its most quintessential features is the carrier. This, I believe, is designated the Type A carrier. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is just a simple canvas, boxy-shaped carrier with a single opening flap on the top, closed by either a leather or, in this case with later examples, plastic fake leather. It's not even real good quality fake leather, it's just plastic strap. And opening, you see two main compartments of the carrier. You have one for the mask on this side, and then you have this pouch with a drawstring for the filter canister, which I will get into in a moment. On the bottom of this, there would be two wooden blocks in fabric sleeves. However, the wooden blocks are missing with this example, sadly. And then the other pouches on the inside are one here for the anti-fogging inserts or spare voice membranes, which I will get to in a moment again. And then this pouch here, which I believe could be used to store the hose when the mask was in storage. You have some markings right here, and as you can see, mine is in fact a late produced carrier with a date of 1989. On this side, you have a pouch for a decontamination kit, which would either be the IPP-51, or in this case, since this one appears to be much larger, the IPP-8, and then you have this very broad shoulder strap, which is non-removable and is adjustable similarly to a GP5 carrier with the two separate buckles. And then you have the common Russian military waist strap for gas mask carriers with the clip that you can remove. And that is about it externally for the RSH-4 or Type A carrier. I believe it's called Type A. Again, please forgive me if that's not correct designation. I needed to brush up on this. Next up is the filter, which in this case, for this configuration, is an EO16. However, earlier RSH-4 issued examples may utilize an EO12 or EO14 canister. I believe both the EO12 and EO14 were box-type canisters. One may have been larger than the other, I'm not entirely sure. But for the most part, the EO16 seems to be the main issued canister for these RSH-4 kits from probably the late 50s, early 60s onwards. Other accessories include the spare voice membranes, especially if the RSH-4 contains an SHMS or MM1 facepiece. And again, these are the voice membranes from my PBF, and I just have the tin here as a visual example as spare voice membranes for the SHMS and SHM66MU, and the SHMG facepieces are quite rare to find for some reason. And then you have the anti-fogging lens inserts, which I do believe exist for the ShMS facepiece. However, they are extremely rare, as I've mentioned, with inserts and spare voice membranes for these masks. So this is just a visual placeholder, which would have been issued with something more along the lines of an SHM41M or so on and so forth. Anyways, up next is the hose. As you can see, this being a black facepiece has a black hose. However, earlier white facepieces would be more common to be issued with the stockinette covered hose here. I'm not sure if the black facepieces were ever issued with the stockinette covered hoses. It is a possibility. However, probably the manual will state that this would not be the case. But anyways, the hose is just your typical black standard Russian hose. Nothing special to be said about this. And then the facepiece itself, which I should mention, this is not a true ShMS facepiece. This is actually my PRVU facepiece that I took the voice emitter plate off of my SHM66MU mask and just swapped it. But other than that, it is the exact same as an ShMS, even though the facepiece did not come from an ShMS kit in origin. But nevertheless, it is pictured here because, again, it is the exact same. Really nothing to mention here. If you want to see this more in depth, I can probably lead you back to my PRVU review, even though I was having an allergy attack and I'm sniffling a whole bunch in that video. I may redo that, but anyways, it's very simple. The facepiece seems to be very loosely based or inspired off of the US M2 10A16, notably with the general layout of the valves and voice membrane, the usage of optical lenses, and of course the very prominent TISO deflector tubes on the side of the facepiece leading up to the lenses. It is of course a ShMS style mask with the fully encapsulating helmet mask design. Now you have markings down here, which you may or may not be able to read because of my shitty camera. This one is a facepiece lot of 952. This one was made in Saratov in the second quarter of 1988, and mine is a size 3 large. And it is not an Olushny facepiece, which means this one has the thicker, more durable rubber, which is a little less stretchy, but overall better quality, I would assume. I don't really need to show you the valve assembly, as it's very basic, very typical of what you would see on an SHM41M and similar masks. It is not the shortened type like you would see on a SHM62. However, I believe only the SHM62 and SHM66 facepieces had the shortened valve assembly. I don't believe any other masks like this had that valve assembly, and I'm kind of rambling here because I'm looking for things to talk about, but I guess I'll show off the inside and wrap up the video for you because I like to have a little extra content in my videos. So anyways, here's the inside. Nothing really special to see here. It's interesting to note that the lens frames for the ShMS on the black facepiece examples, they're always typically white for some reason. I've never actually seen a black ShMS or PRVU with black eye lens retainers, and that's quite interesting to me. I'm not sure why that is, but it's kind of a neat contrast and kind of a neat feature, so no problem with me. Then you have the first outlet valve throughout the bottom of the assembly there, and the voice membrane can be seen throughout the bottom there as well. And it is a very simple facepiece with really not a whole lot going on, so I'll put it back on the head and I'll wrap up the video for you guys, if I can. Give me a minute here, folks. Alright. So that's basically that. Really not much to review with this mask. It's a mask that we all know and love, and these are fairly common on the surplus market, either the black or the white versions, and these can be found around the ballpark of just under $40 if they're complete kits, and you can find complete kits for around that price range. However, it is more common to see them just as the face pieces alone, but now that you have this video for reference, you will have an idea of what you will want to expect with a complete ShMS-based RSH-4 kit. So, if you have any comments, questions, corrections, or concerns, drop them in the comments below as always. I'm Duke Ninja 3D, and I will see you all later.